Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wow. There, we're on. Happy Friday. Goodness gracious, we are on here and it is Friday and we're gonna do some stuff. And yeah, so I wanted to share a couple things. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let me get started with the potatoes first because they're going to take longer to cook. And so we're going to get these guys in here. Now, these are washed. Everything's washed and clean. Really important to make sure that everything is washed and clean when you bring it home from the store. And I do find that you know, if you wash it as soon as you bring it home, then you just don't have to worry about it when you're, you know, when you're ready to start cooking. You can just grab things out of the fridge and it's all ready to go, and you don't have to think about washing them. And especially if you're using things. Well, that one has a whole. Oh, that one's gonna grow. It has a whole bunch of little eyes on it. We'll keep him. Yeah, so super important to do that. And oh, that one might be too thick. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's thin it down a little bit because the ones on top are going to take longer. And yeah, so we're going to make a potato dish, and then we're going to make Brussels sprouts, and then dinner will be made. So nice to have everybody hanging out with me on Facebook Live to you know, to share ideas about healthy ways of you know, cooking and using food. And you know, it's such a blustery, I guess you'd say a blustery day out there today, that you know, something like really warm and spicy and soothing is really going to be the you know, it's going to be really nice to have when you come in from the cold, if you're out in the cold. And if you're not out in the cold, just looking out there kind of makes you cold. So it's good to have something super warm. And that's the oven heating up because, whoops, this will go into the oven. Okay, I'm going to put that one in the compost because the dog probably really shouldn't eat raw potatoes. How many we got there? Okay, maybe just one more because there's just two of us. And so, hi everybody. So nice to see everybody on here. Sometimes the Facebook, wow, that's kind of a tough potato. Sometimes the Facebook just doesn't show me who comes on. So if I've missed you, I apologize. It's so awesome to have everybody hanging out every morning at 11 and sharing ideas about recipes. And just lots of comments and things on what people want me to share with them on how I do my cooking with healthy foods. And so it's been super cool being able to do that. It's a really casual way of doing it. And hey, there's Tana, perfect. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Everybody over here for dinner tonight. And so we're gonna make this into a it's kind of a Moroccan type Mediterranean, I don't know, you know, potato thing. And so let me just turn these guys over a bit. And then we're going to make the sauce. So the sauce is going to be really interesting. And yeah, so, you know, the potatoes are really healthy for you too. You know, the thing that people get all, you know, about potatoes being fattening, it's what you do with them. So in this case, I'm not adding any oil or any, no fats, no oil or anything like that. So, and the ingredients that we're going to add are super, super healthy. So I have my beautiful, they're kind of not so beautiful anymore, but the rest of my tomatoes from the garden are starting to really wither up a bit. So I was going to do a couple different things, which I will still do. I'm going to puree them and then dehydrate them. So when you puree them and basically blend them, and then put them on the dehydrator sheet, then it'll be like kind of like a fruit leather sort of thing, and then you can make it crispier, and you can just break it up into chunks if and then you'd use that as a tomato paste. So it's kind of like a dehydrated tomato paste. And then if you want to make it powdery, you could actually put it through I have a herbal coffee bean grinder thing, and I use that for foods and herbs and things like that, not coffee. And so you could put your dehydrated tomatoes in there and actually make a tomato powder if you wanted to. So the step right here is going to be blending up these tomatoes while the potatoes simmer away, start to get soft. And we're just going to try and get the ones that aren't cooking to the bottom, switch these guys around a little bit. This is not the ideal way to do this. As far as a pan, ideally you would use a, more of a frying pan, but I'm going to use my frying pan for the Brussels sprout dish. And I think that you guys can see and hear better what's going on, and also it's going to be better, I think, for the sauce part of it. So, but anyway, use whatever it is that you have, and really doesn't matter. That's the one thing. I am so not about rules at all. And as you know, if you watch this Facebook a few times, I just do things my way. I am not a professional cook at all. I am a certified herbalist and certified natural health consultant, and so I work with people's health and nutrition, but I'm not a professional cook at all. So my methods are definitely not I don't know, they're different, most likely, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I just make healthy food, and I just do it the way I do it. And it's very nice that since this lockdown happened in March, everyone wanted to get together and couldn't. And so we started the Facebook Live. I've got my blender in the way here. I might as well let you see exactly what I'm doing. I really need the other knife because I'm using a huge knife to get those little tomato stems out. And don't really need to be doing that. I try and remember everything, but sometimes I don't. This is going to work way better. Okay, so just getting the stems out, because at this stage of the tomato, they're a little bit tough. So, yeah, so we just get together and do things like that. The other thing I'm quite interested in are, aside from dehydrating tomatoes, and I'm going to dehydrate some soups and things like that, the other thing that really interests me is freeze drying. And I have a friend who has a freeze dryer, and so I think that's super cool. I would really like to get into that, but of course I can't afford a freeze dryer. So I'm just going to buy some freeze dried things from her, and then try some recipes, because with the freeze dryer, it retains the shape and the color and the everything much better. Like dehydrating shrinks it down and usually darkens it. And so the freeze drying's pretty exciting depending on what you're using stuff for. Like in the case of fruits, strawberries and that kind of thing, like, super awesome. And you can freeze dry anything. So I'm really excited about that. And hey, Jane, potatoes, yes, for sure. Oh yeah, Pringles. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, for sure. I did dehydrate potatoes this year. And I dehydrated onions, and well, of course, you guys were watching me do beet leaves, like the beet greens, and I did the beet stems as well, and I did the Swiss chard stems as well as the leaves. And so I have lots of dried greens to add into my soups and whatever, stir fries and things like that. And so that one looks good. That one's not too big. And so, yeah, so if you know, another thing is if you have things in the fridge that are just starting to kind of get like this, a little bit wrinkly, but not terrible, then that's a good time to dehydrate them too. Okay, so we're just going to blend these guys up, but maybe I will give this a little stir just to try and get the guys that haven't cooked much to cook. Okay, I might add a little bit more water. But it's surprising how well they are cooking down. And, you know, it kind of shows you that if you have a hot pan and very little water, things cook faster. So, and this is just water in here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of that. So we're going to zip these guys up. So beware of the noise here in the Vitamix. And I'm not going to blend this too much because I don't mind if it's chunky for my dehydration. Hey, Darlene. Hi, Jane. Nice to, yeah. Yes, exactly. Talk to Tana about the freeze drying for sure, because that's where I'm going to be buying mine. And I'm very excited about it. I think that's super awesome. Okay, so what we're doing, I'm going to turn this up again since I diluted it. We're going to let this settle a bit because it has quite a bit of foam, because I want to bring this back up to cooking the potatoes a little bit more before I add more liquid, right? Because the liquid slows it down. So in this case, what we can do, if I can reach all my stuff, is we can add some seasonings. But I want to talk about this first because I know I'm going to forget. Sometimes after we finish, I look around, I think, oh man, I wanted to mention blah, blah, blah. And I'm so busy blah, blah, blahing anyways, most of the time, that I get easily distracted. This is the coconut yogurt that we made the other day. What was that, Monday or Tuesday? And so this is simply coconut out of a can, like coconut milk out of a can, and added a probiotic capsule and just stirred it up and left it on the counter. So I'm pretty sure, I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's been 3 days, maybe 4. And it's super awesome. It's like the yummiest coconut yogurt. And so that is a really good thing. We made this on the same day that we made the granola. So you could put this with your granola if you wanted to, and or just eat it as it is. It's really, really lovely. It's quite thick, you know, so I'm kind of wondering if you added a little bit of almond milk or coconut milk to it, because it's like super thick, just to you know, create more volume so that it goes further. But it turned out really nice. I just had it on the counter with a piece of saran wrap over it. You know, probably not the ideal way to do it, but I just wanted to keep the dust out and see what happened. Keep an eye on it. And it's turned out beautiful. So the coconut yogurt turned out awesome. And yeah, so, and the other thing I wanted to share with you is we did, now this might have been Monday, we did like the sort of a Vicks Vapor Rubby type of menthol salve. And it just turned out amazing. It turned out so amazing. I think I'm really, really impressed with how it turned out. So it has, because it's different, it has sage oil and bay oil. So happy about that. The sage and the bay, I actually did a blend with just the sage and the bay, an oil with just the sage and the bay into a salve as well. But with the sage and the bay, it just brings out a whole, you know, respiratory, like, oh my God, it just feels so good on your chest or under your nose, your sinuses. It's just awesome. I was actually put it on my hands for hand cream too, because it's got everything in it for healing. And so that's awesome. And speaking of bay, before I forget, we are going to add a bay leaf to this, and I do still have, I'm going to add 2 because I love them so much when they're this fresh. Get it put back in there. That reminds me, should I use Okay, there are so many fun things to add to your, hey Terry, hi, good morning, or good afternoon. I get so distracted by all the good things that you can add to this. So this particular recipe, I'm going to kind of follow along with the Mediterranean, Moroccan-ish. You know, I'm going to try and stick with the plan, which I'm terrible for. I never stick with the plan. I always change from plan B to plan C to plan D. So I guess I won't add the portobellos, but I like to keep that kind of stuff close to me because when you're making something, you might as well make it healthier if you can, and you tend to forget if stuff is in the cupboards and you don't see it. I'm one of those people that I'm very visual. I need to see to keep things fresh in my mind. If it's in the cupboard, it almost doesn't exist. And so, yeah, so when I look at things, when I make a soup, I'm like, oh, I'll add this, I'll add that, I'll add this, I'll add that. Okay, so we don't want nutritional yeast in this particular one. We probably don't want the shiitake mushrooms, although they're very good for you. They're very antiviral. I think I'm just going to sneak in a couple of non-traditional oyster mushrooms because I just really want to. I love adding the mushrooms to it. So these are our oyster mushrooms that we picked this summer. The oyster mushrooms are antiviral. They're very detoxifying. They actually clean the cells in your body. They're such a great antioxidant and detoxifier. So, so I'm going to add that because you won't notice it, so it won't really take away from the Moroccan. For the other things for Moroccan, I am going to add a few of these red peppers. These are the dehydrated red peppers, bell peppers they were, that I did this summer. So I'm going to throw a few of those in. That'll stick to the plan a bit. And just break those open. Okay, so I think it's boiled down almost enough to where I can add my tomato, my pureed tomatoes or blended tomatoes. Okay, so I'm not going to add all this because I'm going to dehydrate the rest, but I'm just going to add enough to, oh my gosh, you guys, I always forget to measure. I'm going to guess that was like five medium-sized potatoes, and I'm going to guess that I poured in like a half a cup of the tomatoes. Tomatoes. Nothing like a bunch of nightshades. Okay, so we have the Moroccan oil. We made this, I think, in March, and it has Moroccan spices in an olive oil. So it's really, really awesome. And after I said I wasn't going to add any oil to this, I happened to notice this, and I'm going to smell it first. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm going to have to add a little bit, but I won't do it right now, just to drive you crazy. Okay, so we have some little peppers here. I'm going to add some of the these guys here, and okay, so I'll just add a tiny bit because these ones are super hot, and I'm going to try to not touch that. Okay, and I am going to add some little tiny microscopic bits. It's surprising how hot they are, the little tiny microscopic bit. You certainly don't want to put your finger in your eye. Okay, so I am going to add some regular chili, dried chilies as well. So, I don't know. We want it pretty spicy, so I'd say about, I'm using a tablespoon, so this would be like a teaspoon, because I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So, so there's that. And we're going to add some brown mustard or black mustard. And so, oh my gosh, there's a difference. There's a nutritional difference between the brown and the yellow. And now I'm trying to think of what it was. I will remember. It's not that my memory's bad. It's that I've acquired so much. A friend told me this. I've acquired so much information over the years and become so knowledgeable that it just takes longer to find it in my brain. Yeah, right. anyways, that'll be my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Okay, so we have some cumin here too. We're going to add some cumin. And, you know, I would add lots, but some people around here aren't really crazy about it, so I'm only adding a little. But my suggestion would be to add like a level teaspoon if people like cumin. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of the garlic here too, some fresh garlic, and put that in. Okay, and what was the other thing? Well, we might as well add a little bit of Celtic sea salt. So the Celtic sea salt is very minerally, so you can add quite a bit. It's more of a mineral, and it has all kinds of trace minerals that you wouldn't get in any other salt. I like Himalayan too, and it's kind of similar but different. And so, yeah, so the other thing I'm going to add, I am going to add some turmeric. I know it turns everything orange, but it's so good for you, and it has the curcumin in it with the anti-inflammatory properties. And so, I don't know. I don't want it too orange, but I think it's worth it. It's worth it to change it to an orange color because of the benefits of the turmeric are so awesome. And then you always want to add black pepper when you add turmeric to activate the curcumin and the anti-inflammatory properties. The other thing I wanted to, oh yeah, so if you have some herbs that you, okay, I think these guys are cooking pretty good, so I'm going to actually shut this off because I don't want them cooked all the way through because I'm going to be heating it up later. But if you have other herbs around, whenever you can, add them. Things like turmeric, things like if you know, I've been sharing with you guys the benefits of things like maca, things like ashwagandha, astragalus. I got that just in time. It's just starting to stick. So maybe I will add just a touch of the Moroccan oil that we made because it's just so beautiful. Okay, so the Moroccan oil, we did this in the spring. Oh my gosh, we did so many things. We did it twice here. We did raspberries in a apple cider vinegar and honey, and so this makes like the most awesome, almost a balsamic. It's not as thick as a balsamic, but you could render it down and make it thicker like a balsamic, but it's super nice on salads. Yeah, we made all kinds of things. But anyway, back to the subject here. So I am going to add a little bit of this, and so if you want, the seeds are at the top and the bottom. If you want, you can just, you know, stick a chopstick in there and give it a stir. But because this is supposed to be spicy, I don't mind getting a bunch of those in there. And I would actually rather have more of the seeds than the oil anyways. So we'll just set that there and give this a stir. And so that's going to have some of the snuck in some additional cumin and lovely, beautiful spices there too. So, oh yeah, so with what I was saying, if you have other things to add, like, so I'm going to switch it up. The other day I added maca to a few of the different things I could put them in, and now I'm going to add astragalus. Astragalus, one of my favorite, this is in a powder. You can buy it in little sort of like coins, or you can buy it in strips because it's actually a bark, and add that to soups and things like that. I like having the powder because you can just throw it into pretty much anything. And the astragalus, I'm going to let that cool first, and then I might add a little of this just before we serve it too. But the astragalus, it doesn't have much of a flavor, so it's super easy to add to things, and I really like it for that reason. I like it better than ashwagandha because ashwagandha, I mean, I love ashwagandha for sure, but it has a bitterness to it, and it can really change the flavor of your recipes, where the astragalus doesn't. And the astragalus is so good for boosting your immune system, It's an antioxidant. It's anti-aging, which I need more of. I obviously don't eat enough. It's also anti-inflammatory and super good for you. So whenever you can, you know, like even if you're taking a greens powder or a smoothie powder or whatever, if you can add extra stuff to it, then you know, then why not, right? Why not get those extra benefits? I could probably use a different kind of spoon here. I'm just trying to make it look pretty. Okay, so that's good. I think we need some more pepper on there, just because things look better with pepper. I just think so. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit, and then we're going to just leave that and just gently warm it up later on for dinner. Yeah, so what else are we doing? Oh yeah, okay. So what I want to do, I never think about space, right? I'm always in such a tiny space here, and I want to get these Brussels sprouts going. So I'll move the tomatoes over there, and I will set this. Actually, okay, if I don't crash anything, if I don't wreck anything, we'll be lucky, but I'm pretty sure this can handle heat. So I'm going to, we always love doing things that I'm like, okay, is this going to work? And am I going to throw things on the floor and spill things and create a problem? Am I going to create a problem? Can you guys still see that? I think so. Okay, let's get these going. So what I might do is move this a little forward, just so we're not running into that pot, and we'll put the handle over here so I don't trip on the handle, and turn that back on. Okay, so because everything is washed and I'm going to be eating all of this in one meal, I'm okay with not getting another clean cutting board, right, from my tomatoes and all that stuff, because we're going to eat these right away. So Brussels sprouts, super awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah, they've got, oh gosh, Brussels sprouts. Well, vitamin K for sure, because cabbages do. And so most of your cruciferous vegetables are going to have vitamin K. And with your, the cabbage, the green cabbage, it actually has more. I'm just putting water in here and putting it on high. The green cabbage has more vitamin K than vitamin C, and the purple cabbage has more vitamin C than vitamin K. The purple cabbage also is like, it has so many antioxidants that it is, it's really almost as good for you as goji berries, which are really good for you as an antioxidant, good for your eyes, good for your liver. But you can do purple cabbage instead because, and it's cheaper because it has those things. So yeah, so anyways, yeah, so for your Brussels there, what else? Oh, anti-inflammatory. And believe it or not, they have a little bit of the omega-3s. So the omega-3s are really, really important. Your omega-3s are your essential fatty acids, and the water's all like on that side. Okay, let me just stick a spoon handle under here. Oh my gosh. It's like, you know, I'm okay with duct taping things together. It really, that evens it out a little bit more. Like, I'm so not expecting everything to be perfect. My husband's more after doing things right. He likes to do things right, and I'm like, oh, that's good enough. So, but it's true, because if I, you know, if I waited for everything to be perfect in my world, in my mind, I would never do things that I do, because I'm so not perfect, and you know, I just would never experiment with anything if I needed to do it right. Sorry, but it's true. Ask my friends, they know. I jump in first and then I figure it out later. Or not. Anyway, what was my point? Oh God. Oh yeah, putting the thing so that it was level. Okay, anyways, yeah, back to the omega-3s. The omega-3s are super important for your brain health. The omega-3 oils are anti-inflammatory, like in a big way. If you are having problems with menopause, hot flashes, that type of thing, you know, I have been a herbalist 25 years, I guess, and so I've tried all the things that we learned, right? All the things that they tell you work, and you know, your evening primrose oil and borage oil, all the different things that and all the different herbs. But you know what I find works the best is just an omega-3 oil. So you know, I mean, that it is more known as being a fish oil, but if you're vegan, you can use the flaxseed oil and it does the same thing. So the trick with that, like the trick for it to really be, I can use my same fork because I'm going to use these together, eat these together. With the omega-3s, the trick is to not do the little capsules, or if you do the little capsules, make sure it's a really good brand. Udo, UDO, used to have a really good, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a really good capsule of the omega-3s, and it was easily digestible. So what you have to watch out for is a lot of the companies use the gelatin capsules are so thick that sometimes, depending on how they're made, they don't even digest and break open or down, so you're not really getting the amount that you need. And the other thing is the thickness of the capsule. So the best way to tell is to stick a pin into your omega-3 capsule and squeeze it out and see how much you get. Now, in my opinion, over the years, I have found that if you're having a lot of hot flashes, what will take them down right away is 2 tablespoons of, I use flaxseed oil daily for the first week, because you're really trying to bump that up and create like a you know, a little bit of, well, it's a medicinal dose, right? So you're doing that for a week, and then you would back off to 1 tablespoon a day of the flaxseed oil. So that will really help. And also, I've seen flaxseed oil or omega-3s take down if you've got swollen ankles and a lot of inflammation, like if you had an injury in your ankles or swelling, inflammation, that kind of thing. The omega-3s will help with the swelling. Well, they help with all inflammation. You know, back, neck, shoulder, whatever that is. They're very anti-inflammatory, so they work with that. Obviously, they work with brain health. You know, there's so much fat in the brain, and you know, so they're really good for depression and that kind of thing. So I personally don't bother with the capsules, because I find that I'm not getting enough. It's not doing anything, and I've heard that complaint from a lot of people that, oh, I take omega-3s or fish oil or flaxseed oil, it doesn't do anything. It's because you're not getting enough, or the right brand. If you can find a capsule that's really good quality and that you can take 2 or 3 of and it makes a difference, that's how you know. If you don't feel different within 3 days, especially in the case of hot flashes, it's so easy to see. But inflammation in general, you should find a difference in 3 days, some sort of difference, if it's working, right? So I'm going to add one more. And that reminds me too that with anything that you're doing, any natural health practitioner, any health program that you're on, if you don't find a difference within 3 months, you need to change. And ideally, if it's an inflammatory thing and you're having an acute issue right now, you should notice the difference within 2 weeks. In some cases, depending on what it is, you should notice the difference within 20 minutes. So like if you're having heartburn, indigestion, that kind of thing, the easiest thing in the world is to take slippery elm. And it will soothe that acid reflux or the indigestion or whatever within 20 minutes. So that's a really good thing to take and know about, because it, these guys are looking dried out. This slippery elm's a really good thing to know and take, because if you take antacids, even though they work, they stop the acid. That's their antacids. So they stop the acid, and if you have a stomach still full of food, they will stop the digestion. So, and that's not good either, because that just leads to undigested food sitting in your stomach with even less acid to digest it. But that's a whole other thing. I have done lectures and taught classes on that. So these guys here, I'm just steaming them a bit. I don't want them super, super cooked. What we're going to do is we are going to add some walnuts and pecans, and we're going to add some maple syrup is the very best thing. A lot of people say they don't like Brussels sprouts. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, cook them like this. You'll like them. Add a little bit of maple syrup. Make sure that lid's on tight, just to bring some sweetness out. And for me, I do like to add some cayenne to pretty much everything. So I like to spice that up a bit. You know, if you wanted to go, this is going to be served with this, I probably don't need any more heat, but if you wanted to, you could add your chili peppers to this. I'm just going to add some black pepper to it, and the maple syrup really does do the kicker. The other thing that I'm going to add is these. We made these a couple weeks ago. This is the bacon coconut. So this is basically a, I'm going to turn that off now. This is coconut flakes mixed with some Bragg's liquid aminos and some tamari sauce with a little bit of smoke, liquid smoke. And so we're going to add a little bit of these too. So this is almost going to be like a salad, because I'm not going to cook this anymore. I just wanted to soften them a bit, and then I'll serve this cold so that it retains all the nutrients. This is the other thing, there is another thing you can add to, just before you serve it, you could again add the astragalus to it or whatever. So you can do that too if you wanted to. Anything else I could think? Oh, well, you know, I mean, we might as well add the most. I try and keep all this stuff around. What's really good for you? Nutritional yeast is good for you. Oyster mushrooms are good for you. Shiitake mushrooms are good for you. I could have added coconut sugar, which is good. I could add ginger, which would be really good too. Maybe I will. I can add a little bit of seaweed, and the reason for the seaweed, bring in a little bit of that, you know, saltiness, but to add more trace minerals. So you're adding an extra benefit to the thyroid, to balancing the thyroid. Has a natural source of iodine, and it also reverses, or well, they've used it to reverse radiation in Japan and all those places where they had the radiation issues. And so, you know, for me, if I can add a little bit of seaweed or another healthy supplement to every dish, then it's like, okay, super uber healthy. And so so that's awesome. And I think I will, now that I saw the ginger, see what I mean? Once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that would be good. And healthy for you, because the ginger, I better use a spoon. The ginger helps with circulation. Obviously, it's really good for nausea and stomach things. Helps to digest, so it'll really help to digest this. So I'm just going to add a little, because I don't have very many Brussels sprouts in here. And I have to say, you guys, for anybody that tried the soup we made, whatever it was, the other day, we made the sweet potato carrot ginger soup. I did put a lot of ginger in there. And so, I mean, it was okay for us because we really like it. But I was thinking afterwards, you know, if you're going to try that recipe, you may want to cut it back and then put a little bit and taste, and put a little bit and taste, because you may not like as much ginger as I put into that sweet potato carrot soup. Okay, so here we are with this one. I'm just going to get the little spoon, give this a stir. And so it's just going to pick up that hint of maple syrup. I think really makes a difference. If you don't have maple syrup, you could use coconut sugar, which has a lower glycemic index. So it's good, better for people with diabetic issues. The coconut sugar is a lower glycemic index, but if you really have issues with sugar, then you could use monk fruit, which is basically a fruit. So it's much better tolerated for anybody with blood sugar issues or that's diabetic. Okay, so it's just going to be like a really nice little softened, it's not really cooked, softened Brussels sprout salad. Okay, so we have that as well. And I'm so tempted to add turmeric to this. Okay, I've already done it. I just get so excited with adding so many healthy things. Okay, so we're over time. Thank you for hanging out. Have a really good weekend. Friday already, so we'll see you on Monday, and try and stay warm and dry. It's pretty blowy out there today, so yeah, so stay warm and dry, and we'll see you Monday morning. And I look forward to your comments and anything you want me to experiment with next week. Check out my Instagram and my YouTube channel, and we'll see you Monday at 11.